Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be doing the team building guide for the physical LR Cell EZA. This will be coming out tomorrow, whatever time this goes up in the UK. It will be going up on what is technically Monday for me, and it releases on Tuesday morning. Releases the same time everywhere. I think it's in the very early hours of the morning, depending on where you are in America. So this will be releasing in under 24 hours from when this guide comes out. So the physical LR Cell EZA category weakness is Entrusted Will, which is the AGL Dokkan Fest Trunks category. Don't worry if you don't have him, there are a bunch of other options, and as always, because this is an LR EZA, you want to utilize the legendary power link in order to do more damage. Now, it is possible to beat the LR EZAs even without a single LR on the team. It obviously just takes a little bit longer, you do slightly less damage, but if you're using Entrusted Will characters and using a decent amount of like STR characters or just powerful units that can get crits and stuff like that, you are still going to be able to beat it without worrying about legendary power, because Entrusted Will has one STR LR on it. It has a bunch of other LRs, including some that have EZAs, so there's definitely some very strong options. There is also a 200% lead you can technically use for this, and obviously we are going to go through all of that. So, standard LR EZA, it has 10 phases, you get all of the medals, you get 5 Kais, so you can put him straight up to SA25. You also get some physical orbs, which is nice, because usually when these units get EZAs, you've already got them, like, with your dupes and your orbs filled in, so these are just extra spare ones for later or for some other unit. And so nothing really different about these. In LR EZAs, you don't get a certain typing, get a massive damage reduction, because it's already restricting you anyway with a category and wanting to use LRs. So technically you can use units of all 5 typings, you just obviously should probably stay away from int, because you're going to do less damage and take more damage because of the type disadvantage. So there you go. Entrusted Will is the category. So like I say, technically the only leader for this is Trunks, but a lot of these other LRs that you might want to use on the team have leader skills that you can use instead. So, as always with my team building guides, I will be going over my top picks and my honourable mentions for the team. And if you guys think I missed out any units, or there's some that I should have talked about in more detail, maybe I missed a perfect aspect of why they're so good on the team, make sure you let us all know down below in the comments, and we can continue the discussion down there. And of course, as always, if you do find the guide helpful at all, do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, we'll go ahead and jump straight in. So, obviously, AGL Trunks is the main leader for the category. He's only been on Global once. I think he's returned on JP, right? Yeah, he was on Raditz banner, I'm pretty sure. So, you might have more chance of having him if you're on JP. But as I said, don't worry, if you don't have him, you will be able to build a team regardless. So, he will obviously still be very good. He can get off multiple attacks. If you've built him with heavy crit, he can do quite a lot of damage. He raises defense on each super attack that he gets. So, obviously, in slot 2 or 3, he's got very good defense after attacking. Obviously, because you want to probably prioritize STR units and LRs. Even if you are using him as the leader, I would probably use him as a 3rd slot floating unit. And then he can get all those attacks off in slot 3 and have pretty reasonable defense. He has to perform 6 or more attacks in order to transform, so you're not going to be able to see that until at the earliest turn 5, which in an EZA is quite long. And then obviously once he does transform, you can't stun or seal in these EZAs, at least in the later stages anyway. So you're probably just going to be keeping him in the untransformed state. So next up we have who is probably the best choice for the leader, which is the new STR Goku and Gohan, because they are on Entrusted Will, and then they have the 200% leader skill for Super Saiyans and Goku family with Android/Cell Saga, which has units like the AGL Trunks that we just mentioned, as well as some of the LRs and some of the other units. And even if they're not getting the 200% lead, obviously Super Saiyans and Goku family covers a huge amount of the units that are on this category, as well as just units that will be good in general for this event. So Goku and Gohan are going to be very good. Obviously they got type advantage as well, which is going to help out, especially because the Goku Goku side of the card is weaker at the start. Obviously, if you've got him in slot 2 or 3, once he gets that super attack off, he's going to be perfectly fine anyway. But obviously, he is not the perfect slot 1 unit, which is what most people's criticisms of him usually are. Because you have to super attack 3 times in order to exchange into Gohan, you're probably not going to be seeing Gohan at all during the EZA. I mean, if you get a double super turn 1, maybe you could get to turn 5 and then exchange, but you're probably going to be in the final turn if you do that at that point anyway. But more so than anything else, this guy's going to be the #1 choice for leader, even over the Trunks, I would imagine, just because you can take advantage of the 200% leader skill. So even if you have Trunks, he goes on this team. So another interesting option is the STR EZ8 Ultimate Gohan. Obviously, he's on the category as well. He's STR, and he's the 170 across the board lead for Hybrid Saiyans. Entrusted Will has a lot of Trunkses, a lot of Gohans. There's some Gotens in there. There's some Gotenkses in there. So you could quite easily run a full Hybrid Saiyans team using STR Gohan as the leader. So he's obviously very good after his EZA. His chance to guard isn't going to matter too much in this because obviously he has type advantage anyway. So in fact, I believe the way that should work is that he'll still be able to activate his guard anyway. I don't think he automatically guards all the time just because the enemy's physical. I keep hearing mixed things about it because sometimes in showcases I see it seemed to work one way and not the other. But obviously he still has the chance to proc that guard, and then once he does, he gets the additional attack and all that for the 4 turns following. So he's going to be very, very good. Even if you just use him as a leader and don't have him as main rotation, like, he's still going to be very good for this, despite not being an LR. And like I said, Hybrid Saiyans has a very strong suite of characters that you can bring for this event. So definitely another good backup leader. Then we have AGL UI Goku. So obviously he's an LR, so legendary power. He's got the 70% chance to dodge, so he's going to be doing pretty well. This isn't like ESBR levels of difficulty, so even if he doesn't dodge, it's not like he's going to be taking 100k per hit. He probably will take a lot from a super in the later stages, that's for sure. But his leader skill, Miraculous Awakening, not so much reps of Universe 7, but Miraculous Awakening does have a lot of Entrusted Will characters on it. So it is possible to build a team using him. It's definitely not one of the top picks, but if you're missing out on like all the other ones we've mentioned so far, you would be able to make a team out of him as well. I mean, Tech Gohan is in here somewhere, I think. But obviously, if you don't have STR Gohan, you can use Tech Gohan and run a Hybrids team. So this guy, I think, is definitely like the bottom of the list in terms of making up for lack of leader skill by using Miraculous Awakening. And you can also use Kamehameha. A lot of the LRs on this category are on Kamehameha. And then obviously a lot of the non-LRs that are on Kamehameha are on Entrusted Will as well. So Gohan, also a very good unit. He's on the 200% lead if you're running the Goku Gohan team. He's a very good link partner for them. So obviously he is a very good choice for the team regardless of who you are running as the leader. And like I said, you can run him as the leader yourself if you are missing out on some of the other options. So moving into some of the other LRs. So this guy obviously got type disadvantage, so not the ideal unit to bring. But because of his leader skill, legendary existence, or Super Saiyans, you can make a full Entrusted Will team out of his leader skill as well. So if you're missing every other unit that we've discussed so far, like, you could use this guy as a leader. You just have to be very careful because he will start taking a lot of damage towards the end of the event, especially if it's from a super attack. Obviously, you could put him in slot 2 or 3 and just go for his 12 key super on purpose and just try and get as much defense in with him as possible. And he is an LR, so if you have dupes or skill orbs and he comes through with the crits, then obviously he is potentially still going to be able to do quite a lot of damage because he is on the category and he is an LR. So still an interesting option, but of course because he's int, he's definitely not high on the list of units that I think you should bring. So, then we have this STR Trunks from the later stages of Super Battle Road rewards. He is an STR unit, he's an LR, perfect choice. He's a Vegeta family lead, so there are a lot of Trunkses on the team. I don't think you can make quite as good of a team out of him as the leader, so I wouldn't use him as the leader. But if you are running a bunch of Trunkses, he can be quite good, because you do need to have Vegeta family units on the team in order for him to get his full potential, on the same turn, in fact, in order to get his full potential. But his kit is quite interesting because he's designed to do a bunch of different things depending on which slot you put him in. So he could be quite useful on the team. And I mean, obviously beating all the Super Battle Road stages for some accounts is harder than others, but he is technically a free-to-play option. So he is the only STR LR on the category, in fact. So if you have him, he could be worth throwing in there. Remember, in EZAs, you can't have units that share the same name, though. And he has the same name as the AGL Trunks leader. So chances are, like, especially even if you're running the Goku Gohan 200% lead, you would be running the AGL Trunks over this guy if you have him. But if you don't, then obviously this is a solid enough choice and another unit that can activate legendary power. So then we have the physical LR Trunks. Obviously has his EZA. He raises defense on super attack. He has that 50% chance to crit built in. So he definitely, in this EZA, could be putting out a lot of damage. If you get one of those turns where you've got legendary power active with him and he double supers through the hidden potential and then obviously through his passive, those could both be crits. He could be doing a pretty crazy amount of damage while also giving himself a very solid amount of defense post super attack. So this guy definitely one of the top picks for LRs in order to just dish out the damage for this run. So he's going to be a very good pick. Then we have the physical LR Bardock. I feel like people sleep on him. I think he's middle of the pack for LR EZAs. He's definitely not one of the worst ones. So I think he's definitely worth using. If you're using the STR Goku and Gohan team, then obviously he fits under the Goku family, part of their leader skill. So he definitely could be interesting to use. Obviously he doesn't have the best links with some of those other characters on that Goku family team, because there's not a lot of Goku family units that have like Saiyan Pride, and obviously has links like Team Bardock, but he could definitely still be very, very good. He raises defense on his 18 key, which is, you know, usually the one you're going to want to go for anyway. So I think he's going to be a solid pick as well. You can very easily run like a full Goku family team just with a ton of LRs, and he's going to be very good on there as well. Then we have the another free-to-play option, the future Prime Battle Trunks. He's pretty good. Obviously, he's more so designed for fighting against multiple enemies in order to get his full passive. Plus, he gets extra buffs for delivering the final blow. So, in just a one-enemy, one-shot event like this, he's obviously not really ever going to be able to be at his full potential. But he is a free-to-play option. He's on the 200% leader skill for Goku Gohan. He raises defense on his 12 key. So, again, you could deliberately go for his 12 key super so that he has as much defense as possible. And then he's just another unit on the team that can be activating legendary power for your other LRs so that they can do even more damage. And he will hold his own reasonably well. He's also another Hybrid Saiyan, as we've already talked about how you can make a full Hybrid Saiyans build. Same with these guys right here, the LR Goten and Trunks. They also have their EZA on both versions, so these guys are actually pretty solid. I think these guys are in the mid to upper tier for LR EZAs as well. I think they're actually quite impressive compared to what I thought they were going to be like when we first saw their details. So these guys will be very good on the team. Their link set is a bit wonky as well, but they can definitely be very solid. There's the STR free-to-play Goten that got his EZA recently, who gets his full potential if you have a Kid Trunks, who obviously the naming part of this unit would fulfill that, so they could work quite well together as a rotation. And so yeah, this unit, another very good LR for dishing out that damage with the legendary power link active. So, for some non-LRs, we have the STR Super Saiyan Trunks from the Broly movie. I talk about this guy all the time. I run him on my teams all the time for, like, showcases and stuff, because he's really good. He's a 40% support unit for Hybrid Saiyans. He's also really good defensively, like, in his own right. So, it's not like he's a support unit that you bring and then half the time he gets you killed. Like, he does actually hold his own very nicely. He can get his unit super attack proc off of the new Goku Gohan. So he can work very well, as well as the LRs as well, like the AGL LR Gohan. So he's very, very good. And if you're bringing a team that has some Hybrid Saiyans on it, even if you're not running like a full Hybrids team, even if there's only 1 or 2 units on the team that will potentially then be getting the buff from his support, he's still a very good unit to bring. If you have no other Hybrid Saiyans on the team, then maybe not so much, but he still is a solid unit. I mean, even if you have no other Hybrid Saiyans, if you're missing that last unit for the team and you don't know who to pick, he is a solid choice, even without the support. So definitely very good. But if you are running a hybrids heavy team, I think this guy's like a must run. Then we have this guy, recently released on both versions and got his EZA, the Super Strike Trunks. I was fairly impressed when I did his original showcase. Obviously, he's hamstrung by needing Savior category units around him, which there are some on the team. But again, he does share the same name as the AGL Trunks, who, you know, just is straight up better. So if you have both, you're probably going to want to run the AGL one instead. But he is still very, very good and a very solid option. If you're running a hybrids team, I already talked about in his showcase the fact that he can work super well on the rotation with both the Gohans, STR and Tech Gohan together. Because they're both Saviors units. So then while he's in the third slot supporting them, he's also getting all of his buffs. So he can be very, very effective on the team as well. So then we have the Super Trunks. Obviously, in an EZA, no same name units, but you could bring the STR one or the physical one. It just makes sense if you have both of them. You might as well bring the STR one because he's the one that has type advantage. He's also slightly better in the shorter events because he gets that big defensive buff for 10 turns at the start. So he's definitely a solid pick. He's on the 200% lead as well. So definitely a solid pick. There's a lot of older units and free-to-play units who will be very good in this event. So even if you don't have some of the newer units or the AGL Trunks himself, you can definitely still make very good teams for this EZA. So then we have Super Saiyan 3 Trunks from Heroes. I know not everybody's going to have him because not everybody summons for the Heroes units for some reason because they're always super awesome. Looking forward to the celebration this year. But he can be very good, very strong defensive unit. Once he takes some hits and gets his attacks off, like he starts to build up actually relatively impressive attack stats as well. And he's another Trunks, another hybrid Saiyan, so he fits into a lot of the builds that we have already talked about so far in terms of the various different leaders. So if you do have him, very, very good. Then we have the Tech Gohan. I mentioned him previously already, but obviously you can run a hybrids team. He's going to link up well with the other, the SCR Ulma Gohan. Like a hybrids build for this will work very, very well. And Tech Gohan, you know, everybody knows he's still the GOAT for most events in the game, so very good. Then we have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks as an honourable mention. I think this guy can still be good for short events and like Super Battle Road and stuff because he does have the 30% chance to dodge for 7 turns. So obviously you can't rely on it, right? You don't want to put him in the slot where there's like 10 attacks and assume that he's going to dodge most of them. But that dodge chance is nice. And, you know, if you're hitting his 11 key, he can put out quite a lot of damage. Plus, in terms of links, if you are bringing the Super Saiyan 3 Trunks, at least you do have another Super Saiyan 3 unit. So you can get some of those links like Legendary Power, Limit Breaking Form, you know, the Super Saiyan 3 exclusive ones. So he can definitely be a decent pick for the team. He's definitely an honourable mention more so than a top pick, but he can be pretty good. And then I thought I'd throw this guy in there as well as an honourable mention just because of the fact that he's on the category, and obviously one of his greatest strengths in these events is the fact that he has the permanent scouter effect. He doesn't have a chance to activate or anything like that. He just has the scouter effect. So if you have a slightly weaker team and you are a little bit worried about maybe struggling with this event a little bit, you could throw this guy on the team and that's going to help you out by allowing you to see where the enemy super attacks are. So going back to the category and just scrolling down here to see if there's anyone we missed. I mean, this guy, I still think Tech Gohan is quite underrated. He could be pretty good on the team for sure. He also triggers that STR Trunks' unit super, that rotation of them two together. They don't share a lot of links, but because of the 40% support, that can still work pretty well. Didn't mention this guy just because of the type disadvantage, but obviously he could still be good. He's on the 200% lead as well. Same reason why I didn't mention these guys there, type disadvantage. They're not on many of the teams, or in fact any of the team builds that we discussed so far. So like, they're a bit of a wonky one to use. They don't have the best link partners on this setup. So, as much as I love this unit, probably not the best to bring. And I think I covered most of the units that I think would be really good. This is that STR Goten. I didn't bring his page up, but he will work very well alongside the AGL Goten and Trunks if you do want to bring them. So, yeah. That is my top picks and honourable mentions for the Entrusted Will team. Like I say, let me know down below if you think there's any units I should have highlighted more. and let me know what your team is going to look like down below in the comment section. So I will be live streaming the EZA when it comes out, so do feel free to pop over and check it out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit that bell so you know when I go live, or make sure you're in the Discord or following me on Twitter, because I always post links there whenever I am going to go live. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.